Welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast, featuring Anthony, Chris, John, Sean, and Mark. This is a weekly podcast where five guys come together to make the ultimate conversational pie about the games they are currently playing.
All right, welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. Joining me today is Mark,
Howdy.
Anthony,
Hello, everyone.
Sean,
Did you say John or Sean? I think John died, so I'll just say hey for both.
and John.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
You look more muscular. Why do you sound like an Animal Crossing character?
He's Nook.
What is going on?
Come to collect the bells.
What is that sound?
That was crazy. The laugh. The translated laugh.
Oh my god. My
I'm
head
not waking
hurts.
up for this shit, man.
You guys are making shit?
She had no idea that I had the voice filter on her.
I didn't hear a word she said.
I know.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my God.
We are gathered here today for the last podcast. We're going to be doing something different for the final one. Instead of what we're playing right now, we're each going to bring a game that we played in the past. Could be like from the childhood or something like that. We're going to bring it to the table as a topic, and then we'll all discuss each game. So, starting us off, I'm going to go with Sean. When you picking?
I'm back. I just pieced out. I don't know. I have trouble like picking things. So like when you said a game, I like
Probably
looked
your
at all my
nose.
games and I was like, well, yeah, I could pick my nose pretty good. But I was like, I don't know what to pick. So like I was grabbing games and I was thinking about, you know, what I could talk about, and I was thinking about like, oh, yeah, I don't think I've talked about Tekken 3, like, you know, the CGI cutscenes, and when I was a kid I used to like play it and make up stories whenever I was fighting. And I always remember that as just like the best time, even though it had nothing to do with the game. I would like provide dialogue. And I was like, I should talk about Digimon just because it was a weird game. Didn't understand what the hell was going on. Had no idea how to play it. But I think that's why I liked it, because it was just like, here's the world. You're there. Figure it out. But I don't want to talk about that. Then I was like, Tomba, the first game I ever 100%ed. And I was like, nah, I don't want to talk about that. And I was like, oh, Tales of Symphonia, which I like played in my early teens to get me through like a traumatic time. And I always like, it's weird because even though the time was traumatic, I always think of the game fondly. And it's like, how does that correlate? What is the meaning there? And then I was like, I could talk about Deadly Premonition again just to piss off Mark. But, you know, I don't want to do that. And I was like, talk about DBZ, Budokai 2, which, in my opinion, best Budokai. But, you know, whatever. This is the first game, like, I was ever excited to be released, like, for a release date. Animal Crossing, which is just, like, literally spent 2 years playing nothing but this. So, you know. Catherine, which is, like, I think I was leaning more towards Catherine because Catherine is literally like the horniest game, but it has like the best story. It has like a moral choices, and it really like overtook my daily life. Like there's not even like a story element or anything. It's just a soundbite. But whenever you pull a block and hit an edge, it goes edge. And like I would fall asleep hearing that in my brain. I would say it all the time. People are like, "What do you?" This is before edging was a thing. So
Where it came from, actually.
yeah, exactly. I started it, and then I was like, "I'll talk about Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which doesn't really have any significance, but it is the reason I started smoking cigarettes because I had cigars, like a bunch of cigars in London, and every time I played it, I would get so like stressed. I would just like smoke a cigar, and I would smoke and then one day Jameson's like, "You want a cigarette?" And I was like, "Yes, I need one." And then I was like, you know what? I'll talk about Demon Souls because I feel like Demon Souls was the first time I played a game. I'm like, they made it specifically for me. But yeah, I couldn't choose. I couldn't choose this one. But what I started thinking about was it's interesting. Like, I don't remember the reason why I got into gaming because as far as I can remember, like, I've always been gaming. But I think it's interesting to think that, you know, you look at a game, maybe from an outside perspective, if you're not a gamer, you look at a game and you're like, oh, it's just like it's something you're playing, it's a waste of time or whatever. But it's crazy how like outside of all the contents in the game, like it has meaning, and the meaning to everybody is different. Like maybe it's similar, like maybe someone played Tales of Symphonia to get through a hard time, but the meaning is absolutely different. And I just thought that was interesting. And I think that's the reason I stuck with being a gamer because I have a lot, like I've had a lot of hobbies that I've enjoyed that I've just fell off of, but I've always stuck with gaming. That being said, Deadly Premonition is a horror game inspired by Twin Peaks, and it's a crime thriller. Lots of fun, great music. Check it out.
Terrible games.
And
So bad.
I don't know if you remember, but Sony had a 3D TV you could play games on, and it was pretty cool.
I literally thought you were about to say you had Mark sign your copy of it with how much he hated the game.
There it is.
Yeah.
Mark. That's what that says. It just says Mark. Like no particular game to talk about. I couldn't choose one. I was just like, man. I just started thinking like, it's interesting. Games have meanings outside of like the games. I think that's why like gaming brings people together. Oh no, I scuffed my laptop. Anyways.
I know. I appreciate I appreciate the life hack you did to to go from like one game to like 10. But I do like appreciate the meaning where it came around because I think that's where like this concept for the final one. I wanted to do this for what that, and I know like a good chunk of us have been playing the same shit we've been playing for the last little bit. So like, want to do something a little different. But yeah, I just wanted to get some different eras in here of like games we've played and just like what they mean to us, and then if people could relate to like those specific games. So, Mark, Deadly Premonition, you love that game.
What do you
right?
think? What are your thoughts?
It's like I'm just gonna go grab my box of 360 games. I'm gonna go through each and every single one.
See, here's what I think is the issue is that you played it on Xbox, Deadly Premonition, but you didn't play the director's cut. What's special about this is it's
So I'll
longer.
cut the director. I'll do that.
Not only is it longer, it only works on specific models of PS3.
Dude, imagine.
For
if-
example, the model I have, it doesn't work on. So
Wait, what?
If you want to buy my 360 version, I still have it.
I do. Call me.
And
What are you saying,
anyways,
Tony?
so it is hard to just pick one game, kind of like what Sean was going over, like how so many different games have so many meanings for like different things, and like because like I've been a really big fan of like RTS games, and like I have so many memories
Hold
of
up a
like
sec. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh.
Sorry to cut you off. When I threw it to you, it was to talk about Sean's games because we're yeah, because I know
oh,
Anthony
okay.
had something to say too, so I don't want us to move on to
Well
that
then.
topic. Before.
No, that
I'm
was
going to
just
pause
that was just
right
a
here.
inserted random joke, and I don't even remember what it
Oh,
was.
okay, you lost it. Okay, I didn't want us to move to a different topic when Anthony was just about to say something. I'm like, oh fuck,
Okay.
like, all right, okay. John, do you have anything to
to-
say for Deadly Premonition before we move on?
No, but Sean, I remember when you got into gaming. Okay,
Oh.
we had a Sega Genesis, all right, and we would fight and argue over a couple games. One being Dynamite Heady. I don't know if you remember
Oh,
that
that
game.
game's awesome. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have it.
And Sonic 2. I just remember
Yeah.
it's like watching you play it, and I'd be like, "Go!" So you'd die, and I get my turn.
Son of a bitch.
But yeah, that was your entry into the gaming life.
Gaming verse.
The gaming verse. Dynamite Heady. I mean, Deadly Premonition. Good stuff.
So bad.
It's good.
Have you played
It's
it
good.
actually?
I didn't play it, but I watched the Game Grumps play it, and I loved every moment of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the best.
All right.
But yeah,
That's how I found out
all I gotta
about
say.
it. Was I think like the super best friends were playing it, and I just remember like the opening scene. The squirrel sounds like a chimpanzee, and I was like, I want this. I want
On
this
that
more
one
than
song,
anything.
that one song that kind of sounds like a Mario song. The din, 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 din. Yeah.
Best soundtrack that loops. It's just like a 1 minute song that loops over and over again.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Sorry to pull the rug from underneath you, Mark, when there's
No,
a
no.
failure of
It's all
communication
good.
there. Oh, you're good.
I misunderstood what was happening.
You're good. You're good. All right. So, Mark, I'll have you bring up your game now since I cut you off when you're about to go and do it.
The rug pull.
No worries. I mean, that was my fault for not properly paying attention. Anyways, so to get back on topic, so from like I have a lot of fond memories of like a lot of RTS games and stuff like that. Like I think I was more into RTS before I even got into RPGs and stuff like that. But back then, like I didn't exactly have a wide catalog to choose from, and I didn't have a ton of like different gaming buddies to kind of sort of sample what they were playing at the same time. So like one initial thought was StarCraft, because like that game was a game that like I've gone back to many times and like just screwed around in like the random matches and stuff like that. But that's not the one I end up going with. Just to kind of mirror what Sean is doing, I'm going to explain a couple of honorable mentions. But another one that I thought of, because like this was one that kind of changed the whole sort of gaming landscape for me, was Oblivion. Was when I first played that game. Like I like this is back when Blockbuster was still a thing. Like that was the last game I ever rented, because after I rented it, I liked it so much that I had to go out and buy it immediately after returning it. And then I was just like, well, I can never rent a game ever again.
Gotta buy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like it's just one of those games. Like I put so many hours into it. Another one, which is like this is the first one where like I had a I really dived into the story and kind of got me hooked on like story-based RPGs, was Lost Odyssey. And like that's like the first, like I played through it multiple times, but like it was the first time I actually sat down and read all like the text lores and stuff like that. And like these were like there are some games that have more in it, but like they weren't just like short little stories. Some of them were quite long, but it was really good. Well, the game I did end up settling on, as we actually talked about it recently, Chris, I'm going to say Gears of War, just because like I think that was one of the first real like co-op experiences that I had. I think we probably played Halo and stuff like that, but that was like one of the first real like in-depth games that we played like just so much of, and it was just so much fun. Having that sort of lively aspect to it, like the chainsawing people in half. That one kid we met that one time who was just running around yelling about ripping out people's spines. Like I still think about that. It's such a good game, and like just like the story, the gameplay, everything about it was amazing. Yeah, it's just like it's one of the like main experiences from playing like games in high school with everybody. I do remember one time in high school, Gears of War 2 had come out, and you guys were all talking about it, and you kept on teasing me saying you were going to spoil the story. So I went home, bought it, beat it, and then the next day at school, you guys were trying to tease me with it again. I said, I already beat it. You can't. But yeah, that's the pick that I decided to go with.
Nice. Yeah, Gears is a fantastic pick. A lot of great memories with that game. Like me and you playing insane difficulty on that, and fucking with each other in that one specific mission where like one person has the spotlight, the other person has to like run through the dark. If the person moves the spotlight off, they just get decimated by those like bat creatures and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's an iconic game that I really hope like the rumors are true. We do get that trilogy
Oh, that would be
remastered.
awesome.
On
I would be
PlayStation.
so happy.
Yeah, play the shit out of that. But no, that is a great pick. Sean, thoughts on Gears of War?
Gears of War. I have never played it. I like that the guy's name is Marcus Phoenix. I think that's a cool name. And I like that they have chainsaw arms like Evil Dead. That is cool. I've always
I
wanted
mean,
to play it.
chainsaw
I think I
gun, but
Oh, never mind. I don't like it. I've always wanted to play it, but I never had an Xbox. I think the only time I had an Xbox, do you know what I played?
Viva Pinata.
No.
Oh.
And Alan Wake. That was it.
How does that make you feel, Mark? Like all those games that
Oh,
came
no,
out
I
on
had it.
360.
I had an Xbox, like not 360, but the original
Oh.
one. Like I used to play like Halo and all that
Area
stuff. But
51.
the 360, like I had very briefly, and Jameson had one. Because he must have, because I remember playing Left 4 Dead with him all the time. So,
I hate
but
that
Gears
game.
of War, never played it. Oblivion, though, I will say I loaded it up several times. Got to a point where I was like hiding and shooting arrows at guards to try to get their armor, and then getting their armor and not knowing what to do. I think I was like a teenager or something, and I was just stupid, so I didn't know what was going on. But
I remember I wrote a long email to Bethesda. It was like a month after PlayStation 3 introduced trophies. And I was like, hey, can you please add trophy support to this game for Oblivion? Because I had gotten like the 1000 out of 1000 for the Xbox version. I wanted to play that again. They said back in a very nice way. They're like, no. And, I mean, props to them for responding. No.
yeah, you should find that email. I want to read it.
Anthony, any thoughts on Oblivion and Gears of War?
Yeah, Oblivion was one of those games for me where at the time, like the PlayStation 1 era was like the last generation where I had the consoles in my house until like late 360, where the point where I think not too long after we had like the next generation, I think. So most of my experience with newer games was at friends' houses, and I remember going to my buddy Dustin's house, and he had just got Oblivion for his 360, and dude, him and I played it for probably like we didn't sleep. Like we were like do that intro mission, and then all of a sudden you go out, and it's like this huge world with like no real like direction. You just go out and do, you know? And it was crazy. Like we were just figuring shit out, like exploring, running into stuff. Like as most people do, we fell into the trap of like sneaking archer approach, which was really fun. That was a great game. I really am excited for that re-release of it. I hope it holds up because like I know I have it access to play it in several different ways, but like I just haven't gone back to it. So I hope it holds up the way that I remember it, but who knows? As far as Gears of War, I've never played any of them. I'd probably give them a try. Like I'm more versed in like shooters, whether it be first or third. So maybe it's something I would enjoy. I don't know. I knew it wasn't back then because I fucking hated shooters, like with a passion. Like my main shooter experience up until like probably Borderlands 2 was like GoldenEye. You know?
To be fair, great game.
Yeah. I was horrible. But my stepdad fucking beat that game on the highest like he had everything unlocked. That's the only reason I had access to like all the shit, because he like fucking beat all that shit.
All right, John, how about you? Thoughts on Oblivion and Gears of War?
Fun fact: I kind of look like an Oblivion character if you hit random, and I love Oblivion. I think it's great. My favorite game was Morrowind, and when Oblivion came out, I was more than pumped. It draws close to Morrowind for me, with like the spell customization and stuff. It's a really good game. As for Gears of War, pretty fond memories with that game. I think it was one of maybe not one of the first games I actually cried at like a character death. Spoiler alert for a game that came out like fucking forever ago when
Ancient times.
Dom sacrifices himself. Ugh. I still get flashbacks. But yeah, that cover shooter, so good. Actually, I wasn't a big fan of shooters either, Anthony, and I loved Gears of War. That's what made me prefer third-person shooters over first-person shooters. It's just because, like, for me, third-person on console feels a lot easier than first-person. But yeah, both solid games. Very good.
All right, I'm gonna actually throw it back to you, John. We'll move on to your game pick. What do you got?
So I didn't have a couple games. I mean, I did, but I was like, yeah, just pick one. Radiata Stories, which, man, this game came out of nowhere and disappeared without anything. It's a great game, PlayStation 2 game. You play as a character named Jack Russell. It's an action RPG. The main thing about the game is like how many recruitable party members you can get, and it's 176. It's insane. Like there's a lot. My playthrough, like I probably didn't even get 20, but yeah, there's an insane amount of NPCs to recruit as party members. Another thing about the game is like, so how I got into this game is I was at a friend's house and he was playing and I was like, "Can I try it?" And he's like, "Yeah, here." And I'm playing the game, like the intro to the game, and he's like, kick things, start kicking things," and you could just like kick literally everything. So kicking things like gets you items, it gets you like just anything. It's like opening treasure chests in that game. It's kicking things. Such a good story. I've been waiting for some kind of like remaster or anything for this game, but it, like I said, it basically just disappeared off the face of the earth. Such a good game, like action, like semi-action RPG. It's like real-time battles, but like in separate screens. Such a good game. Like, why didn't they do anything else with this? I don't understand. Was it a bomb? Like, maybe it was just I remember it better than it actually was. But yeah, that's my that was my pick.
So, how do you say the name?
Radiata Stories.
Radiata Stories. Okay.
Radiata.
Okay.
Like
well,
Radiata.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever heard of that game. Which, I mean, from how you described how it kind of disappeared, like I might play.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think anybody's heard of this game. It's fucking awesome.
Anthony,
I'm looking at the right now.
Oh, Marco. Marco, you.
I promise you guys, like, you guys will play this. Like, get an emulator or something and just play it. Just try it. You guys will be hooked.
Is it a tactics? game?
No,
Or
it's
is it- oh, it's turn based.
yeah. Well, not really. It's action RPG.
Oh, I like the art style.
Yeah, it's cool. It's Square Enix too, so it's like, it's like kind of good. There's a cult following for it. I know that.
It
I'm in
looks
the cult.
interesting.
Nice. I just like I cause silence in the podcast. You know how much of an
Everyone's just
honor
So
that-
we're all looking at this thing, trying to like, have I ever seen this ever?
You've never seen it. I can promise.
Yeah, Anthony, you haven't
You've
heard of
never
this
seen
game,
it.
have you?
They,
Oh, you have?
yeah,
I think my
And
Discord's being fucked right
you
now.
would be correct. I,
Chris.
Is the podcast on? Oh, okay.
Perfect final episode, guys. Like that room Mark started. I was trying to throw it to Anthony. Like I was like, and like he was like frozen, and then I heard him go. Like, I heard, and then Mark started getting all robotic. I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking the ship is sinking, boys. The ship is sinking. It's a perfect ending. All right, so Anthony, go
oh
on, sorry.
jeez.
About like Sean's game. Sorry.
Yeah, I never played it, but again, similar time frame of when I was saying I had like the PS1 and I just big gap in like the current gen stuff. A friend Tristan that I used to hang out with all the time, go over there, we'd play games there and stuff. He played it because he was a big anime fan, anime style game, like art style kind of thing. And the only thing I can remember from it is him talking about it having really hard. It was either a really hard final boss or really hard secret bosses. Something,
It was-
one of those two.
It was not an easy game.
Yeah, that's all I remember. And I remember somewhat what it looks like, but yeah, I'd never actually played it.
Mark, now that you've looked at it, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, if this does look like a game where if I played it way back when, I definitely would have enjoyed it quite a bit. It looks pretty interesting. I do like the art style. Yeah, I could have gotten into this game back then. I think it's a little bit too dated now for me to try and play it because I do not think it'll be able to hold my attention. But it looks like if I got it a while ago, I would have probably put a couple hundred hours into this probably.
Did I mention it has a similar like clock style like time thing as Majora's Mask? No, I didn't. Sorry.
What is Majora's Mask?
Interesting.
Never heard of it.
Sean, what are your thoughts now that you've looked into the game?
I like the art style. I'm down to try it. I'm always down to illegally download things. Because I want to see. I'm going to go on price charting and see how much it is. Someone else can talk, but I'm curious.
I'll just say for me, I'm afraid to look into this game further because the second I started doing that on my phone, the Discord went to shit for me, and I think this game's too powerful. I think John, I think conspiracy theory. I think somebody's trying to silence people on this game. I'm just gonna throw that out
I
there.
think so. I have one more thing to say about this game.
Yep, go ahead. I can't
But that's
believe
it.
they killed him off.
Very
at the end. That's a
compelling.
huge spoiler, John. Like you just ruined the game for everybody who hasn't played it, which is 4/5 of this
Get it?
podcast.
Get it? There's more. There's more to know.
It's only $50.
Yeah,
Complete
it's not bad.
box.
It like I'm looking at the
Right.
review scores right now, and it's not bad. It's like 76, 74 out of 100, 7.5 out of 10. Like it's average. It was
Trying
a
to see if
10
they
out
have
of
it
10
on
for
the
me.
classic catalog. They
They
don't.
don't.
Sony, get your shit together, dude. What are you even doing?
Yeah.
Like, try to be more like Xbox. Have no games, but have the one PS2 game John talked about.
Yeah, that one super. They got what is?
I
it,
mean, they got
Mosquito,
Lost Odyssey on there. I bought it for like $5.
right? Good old
Haven't
You're
played it
rich.
yet. I don't have an Xbox here right now, and I'm too lazy to go get it.
All right,
Where is
so,
it?
Anthony, what is your pick? What is your game?
I don't know. It's funny.
What was that from? Is that like
I don't even know.
where you like walk into a wall and it'd be like, where is it?
What?
You guys ever
What
heard that?
game is what?
So, I feel like it's
think
Silent
it's
Hill 2.
Is this your game? Is this your pick?
No. I just like I think it's the original like what Duke Nukem game. Like when you just keep walking your character into a wall, he'll be like, where is it?
I seriously
the
thought
fucking
that
door?
this was like my game is like I don't know what it's called. I just remember walking into a wall and going,
Oh,
All right.
jeez.
So my pick is RuneScape. I played that game for like 12 years on and off. And it's crazy the way the game has changed. It's a game. The reason I'm bringing it up too is because like it's a game that I look back fondly, and all the time I spent with it, whether it be good times or bad in my own life, but like just the bittersweet fact of like I think at this point that I will never go back, just with like what the game has become now. It's transferred several different ownership, like the company Jagex, several times, and the most recent one is kind of messing it up a little bit as far as like transactions and like the most recent thing they're trying to put like lower cost subscription with ads, or no, it was like the current subscription would have ads and you had to pay more to have no ads. You had to pay more for better account security, like just crazy shit. So but looking back, it's like I remember playing like we were in grade school and it was like you remember I don't know the exact website, but like websites like addictinggames.com or Congregate, like just a bunch of mini games. It was a website like that where one of them one day a game on that website was RuneScape. We're like, oh, what's this? And it was, when you clicked it, instead of playing it in the browser there, it brought you to like a secondary thing, make an account, whatever. Next thing you know, like all my friends in my class were all playing it, and I remember I couldn't run it on my PC at home because it was shit because my parents were fucking poor as shit. But um, my mom's house didn't even have a PC. It was only my dad's, and that one it was like you could email or instant MSN. Like that was fucking it. Um, and it was like at that time it was like what we know today as old school RuneScape was like just RuneScape, and then there was RuneScape Classic. So it was a similar model now where you had access to play two different versions, but the RuneScape Classic was an even more dated brand, like the original version of RuneScape. Because not even like old school is not the original version; it is an even older one. But that, as far as I know, that version is just gone completely. Um, and most of my time I think was spent with the old school version before 2007 and on, which I think is when the current, well, I mean it's changed drastically over time now, but like the current iteration, like RuneScape 3 or whatever you want to call it, OS, or what do they call it, like something of combat, anyway I can't remember. But yeah, great game, man. It's like so many life skilling in it, like cooking, fishing, that kind of those kind of skills, and the combat skills into like when I finished playing it, like it used to just to be about grinding, mindless grinding, um, making stuff, selling stuff, and by the end of it, with like the more modern version that's out, um, they put a lot more emphasis on combat, and then they had like a lot of all these big bosses. You could do co-op bosses. Like me and my friend Rob, like we were starting working up our armor and skills. Like by the end of it, man, like I wasn't like some like top 10 richest player, but man, I had so much shit. Like my account's probably, if I were to sell my account, I'd imagine I probably could get at least $1,000, maybe even more.
Sell it.
Honestly, at this point, I might. Like I don't plan on going back. Like I'm done. I'm out.
Because you have that rare hat, right?
No, not one of the ones that's worth like, because those ones, like some of them are worth like they obviously it's volatile, but like some are worth like between $2,000 to $5,000, like real money. Like I
Wow.
remember this guy I played with for a bit. It was a friend of my buddy Rob's. His brother paid, I think he paid like $1,200 real money for a transaction for one of the party hats. It might have been the blue, and 6 months later he sold it for like $3,000.
Wow.
Because it's crazy.
That
And
is
that was the thing.
insane.
The problem with those items, those party hats, the original ones that are worth a lot, is the value of them grew so quickly that even the most efficient way in the entire game to make money per hour was at a slower rate than the rise of the value. So like there was no way, that's basically saying there was no possible way for you to play the game and have enough money to buy one of those unless you did what's it called? That thing when you're really rich and you like play the auction house where you buy a fuckload of items off it for cheap and resell them for high. I forget what word is for that. I
Scalping.
can't. It's basically, but I can't remember. There's a term they use for it on MMOs, but that's probably a way you could afford it, or like this guy did, real money. Um, auctioneering? No, I can't remember. But yeah,
Something.
that was a good 10 years, man. It's too bad. That's why I think that being such a prominent game in my life for a huge part of it is why I think I generally am attracted to these games as a service, like online MMO style games. I obviously still enjoy single player games here and there, but like I think I just always feel like I need to have something of that nature ongoing at every given moment, which is sucks to some degree. It's honestly something I should probably work away from. But if you think about it, I'm almost always playing something that is a never ending game.
It's an investment. One day you can sell all of your accounts.
Yeah. I forget the website now. There is a website that you do that. It's like literally made for selling accounts for online things. From anything from like phone game gacha games to like full on MMOs like World of Warcraft. Yeah. I remember because I checked the value. Do you remember, Chris, you remember when we went to the gym, I was playing that app game all the time?
Mm-hmm.
It's called Bleach Brave Souls. It was a gacha game based off the anime Bleach. At the time that I looked, probably like 3 years ago now, my account for that game was worth like almost $700. Because like nothing, obviously nothing in that game is tradable, right? Like you have to earn it yourself. And I played the game for like 3 or 4 years straight, like almost every day. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, RuneScape. It's a good time. Maybe not so much anymore, but it was. It was a great time.
Mark, what are your thoughts on RuneScape?
I mean, it is a very, very classic game. I played it a fair amount back in the day. I never ended up doing any of the membership accounts. Like I only ever had the free RuneScape experience, which I've always heard like the paid experience is way better than the free one. But yeah, I played it a bunch. It was a great game. Just that mindless sort of grinder game that you did way back in the day. Also, like makes me think of like all those other stupid games. Like you were talking about like addicting games and stuff like that. I remember playing that and like all those other ones like Neopets and shit like that, where it just like had that obsessive cult following. Yeah, I know it was a fun game. I definitely fell off of it way earlier than Anthony did because he just stopped playing it recently. But yeah, I think the highest level of gear I got it was like black steel or something like that.
Okay,
I don't.
black.
Yeah.
It goes steel, then black, and then mithril.
Okay.
At
Yeah.
least at the time.
The black arbor.
Very
Yeah. I never got into like the end game content, but it was fun while it lasted. Just chopping down tons of trees, making 3,700 fires in the middle of the forest, and
yeah.
then going fishing and cooking said fish on in your forest fire. Yeah, it was a good game uh, to play, and obviously it still holds up because people still play it to this day. So yeah,
That's the thing. I think this game, I don't know if it was the first. It probably honestly wasn't, but that system of having all those skills of like, it's not just like combat and combat ability related stuff where it was like fishing, cooking, farming. I mean, some of these are member skills, mind you, but there was farming, there was wood cutting, there was rune crafting, like all these skills that were just like supplementary to like the core game experience because like you would use food in combat to heal, you would use logs to make tons of things like arrows, bows, like probably some other stuff I can't think of, like that it all eventually fed back into the combat, but it was like I don't know, it was one of those games where it's like I don't feel like fighting these guys anymore, So instead of playing a different game, you just play a different game within this game of like let's go play the game of cutting trees, or let's go play the game of fishing. Like
Or, yeah, mining and smelting.
It
yeah,
almost seems
dude.
like the first like kind of survival game. Like
In a way, yeah. Like
yeah,
the fundamentals are there. It's not quite that genre, right? But like the fundamentals of the genre, you can find them there, which is I do like survival games. I just don't like the building part, like because my buildings are always ugly.
I love the building part.
That's why I let you do it all, and I just live in your house.
Just live in my house.
Yeah,
Come live with me.
you're my sugar daddy.
John, what are your thoughts on RuneScape?
I like RuneScape. I'd still play it.
I'll play it,
I don't think like the core of the game is the combat. I think the core of the game is literally standing at the yew trees in Varric, chopping at them until you're level 99. That's the core mechanic of the game.
It's not even the most efficient way, my guy.
It's not, but free to play. Free to play it is.
No, free plays Willows.
Oh, Willows! I forgot
God,
about
yeah.
that.
Come on, John.
Amateur.
Anyways,
Fucking
Idiot.
Sean,
It's
did
just
you
not.
play-
It's just if you want to make money and level, then you would have done the use. Which
I don't.
most
I can't. I went to get a beer. Did Sean go yet?
he's right
not
there.
yet.
No. Okay, I won't
Or-
say anything then.
Or like
I was gonna
RuneScape.
say. I was gonna say. Sean actually got me into RuneScape. Believe it or not. I think he
I
like
probably
introduced.
played way less than you, but yeah.
Yeah, but I played the fuck out of that game. I like.
Yeah, we played together for a little while
We
too.
did.
That was fun.
We did. I'll get back into it. I do every year. Every year I go through like a 2 to 3 month like RuneScape kick. So it's bound to happen. I did last year. So
Well, if they don't go forward with all these changes that they've been rumoring around, that have been rumoring around, then I might jump in with you.
I miss the market, like the actual market, not like the
Oh
grand,
yeah,
not the grand market. The stand in the bank going selling 150 coal market. You know,
And then getting scammed.
and then
dude, I
no,
skipped.
and then scamming. You don't get scammed. You just scam.
I do.
Yeah.
I did.
Dude, one of the tricks at one point was they actually changed it so that when you had the trade window up, if a change happened, big red exclamation
It would
mark
tell you.
appeared.
Yeah,
Because what
I
it used
remember.
to do is the number 4 almost kind of resembled a K representing 1,000.
Yeah.
Not really, but like what you do is you put in, let's say like 30K, and it would say like 30K, right? And it was all the same color because now it's like as soon as it breaches into the K, the number changes to white. But before that, it's yellow. Before it was all just yellow. So what you do is you click withdraw. You put in 30K because you're buying something for 30K, and then you click to withdraw the money from the trade, and you withdraw the exact amount of money to turn it to 304. And before you press enter, you right click on, let's say, 2 lobsters. Press enter and click the add lobsters so they change at the same time. So to them, they see 2 lobsters pop up and they don't notice that the 30K changed to 304, and then you just bought something for 300 gold plus the cost of 2 lobsters.
I'm not saying that I ever did this just in case JagX ends up watching our podcast somehow and finding out what my account is. But there's the quick swap method too, where you'd like swap it for something that kind of looks like the item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where you'd like have like, for
Yeah.
example,
Oh,
like
dude, everyone, you guys probably even know about this one, the fucking trimming armor.
Yeah.
I'll
I
trim
remember
your
that.
ruined armor.
I'll trim your armor for 100K,
Oh,
Just leave.
and then they just steal your armor.
Yeah, they steal it, and then I'm pretty sure they were just high alking it right there for the money. Because that was
Oh,
the
yeah, no,
spell they were doing,
100%.
was high alk.
Yeah, 100% they were.
Idiots.
Oh, man.
Idiots.
Sean, what are your thoughts on RuneScape?
I loved RuneScape. I remember like I haven't played in forever. I fell off pretty quickly, just like Mark. But I just remember like when we were in grade school, we had computer lab time, and we were supposed to play like typing games or Ski Freak or whatever. But someone had bypassed the firewalls and loaded RuneScape, and they showed everybody how to do it. So we would just play RuneScape, and then when the teachers would come by, we would switch the screen to make it look like we were in Microsoft Publisher. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then I started telling everybody, like, oh, you got to try this game. I don't quite remember the mechanics because I have a goldfish brain, but I remember specifically I was obsessed with, is prayer a stat or a skill?
Yeah,
Like you do something
burying
with bones?
Bury them.
Yeah.
Bury 'em.
I remember I was obsessed with doing that and getting lobsters. That's basically all I did. Like I didn't do any combat or anything like outside of like gathering, but I would just level my prayer and level my fishing. No idea why. I don't know what my end goal was, but I was obsessed with it.
Prayer is really good. It still is actually it's like a requirement in the end game because there's so many combat prayers now. It's crazy. Some
I
of them
was
you have
just-
to do like high level quests to get, like Soul Split. I don't know if that's actively a meta prayer now, but it was when I was still playing.
I was trying to get closer to God. I think that's what it was. I'm a God-fearing man.
Yeah, that's fair. I have an altar in my house. Literally, the housing system, all I have in there is an altar to level prayer. Because when you get like higher, so what you do is there's an altar and 2 incense burners. And if you light the 2 incense burners and you just basically offer the bones to the altar, you get like a huge increase in XP per bone that you do. So you just leave the house, go to the bank, get an inventory of bones, go to your own house, go to the altar, give them all away. And that's all it's in my house. You go in there, it's just this
You
little
just were boning in your house all day, is what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
saying?
boning on the altar.
Maybe when I fall off of my Marvel Rivals obsession, I'll play with you guys.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's been a
I'll
long
hook you up.
time. So.
If we do RuneScape 3, I'll hook it up, dude.
I'll give him the armor that you gave me.
You have to repair it first because you can't trade it when it's broken.
Oh
when it's
yeah,
use, but
never mind.
it's not that much. It was only like 10 mil for that though.
A lot of this stuff
Like, I
went
have-
over my head. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I actively have probably like almost 2 bill on my account in gold. So,
I can't remember how much I have.
which sounds like a lot, but trust me, that is like not a lot.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like a shit ton of money, but
It would have been in the game you guys would think of and remember. That is an unreasonable amount of money. But in the current economy, it's like people have like hundreds of bill.
I'm just watching
Donald
Chris's
Trump's
face as we
economy.
talk about this.
let's talk about the economy.
Yeah.
I know. I was just like a
Oh.
lot of like what you were saying just went completely over my head, and then Anthony just goes, "I have an altar in my house." I'm like, I've been to this house so many times. I have not seen this altar.
Yeah, you didn't know Anthony has an
Secret
altar that he
man.
sacrifices bones to.
I was like genuinely like, what the fuck? And then
Wanna
I
come over?
then I realized.
I'll show you my altar.
Yeah, when
How many bones you got?
in grade school, like there were kids who played like Tibia, there were kids who played RuneScape. I tried RuneScape, I didn't get into it. I played Tibia for a little bit, but I was just like, that's not my thing. And then I literally spent like most of like the later years of grade school just playing wrestling games on my PS2. That's like the only thing.
Oh, dude, SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh, dude, here comes the
So
pain.
good.
Shut your mouth. Those games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
The only
didn't really
wrestling
play
game-
RuneScape.
The only wrestling, because I had never really played. I played some at Dustin's house growing up, like N64, like No Mercy and stuff. But the only one where I saw it, I'm like, man, I need to play wrestling games. It was one with like, I think Brock Lesnar was on it, and you could like tear women's clothes off, and I was like, I
I
gotta
think
play
it-
wrestling games.
A couple of the games had those. They were the bra and panty matches, and the one with
Oh,
Lesnar on the
yeah.
cover was "Here Comes the Pain," which
And did
was
that have
one of like
those?
the
The-
better ones. Oh yeah, that definitely had that. Yeah,
Yeah,
SmackDown on PS2.
Yeah.
So good.
I remember like our uncle, God rest his soul, like we used to play
they touch you.
Raw versus, or is it Raw versus SmackDown? Like,
SmackDown vs Raw. Yeah,
yeah, SmackDown versus Raw all the time. And like he'd be like, all right, let's create characters and sit there and watch us create characters. And I created this bear that I think I gave him like the moveset of Scotty Too Hottie or something. And like it was just such fond memories. And every time I load a wrestling game, that's what I want. But I don't get that feeling anymore.
The character creator has just never been the same.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was easy. It was. Like simple to set up like a move sets and stuff.
He used to kick our asses at that game too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's one that I actually played a lot with Dustin, and it was called
Day of Reckoning 1 or 2.
WrestleMania
Or-
X1X or something.
That was GameCube,
WrestleMania.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with the Day of Reckoning. I did play with him, and it was the GameCube version.
Mhm.
And I remember Mike went to Portugal for like a month and let me borrow his GameCube and his games, and I did play through the campaign on my own on that one. Day Reckoning. It might have been 2 actually. I can't remember. Day Reckoning 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It was the one where you do, I mean, unless this is a common thing, but one of the matches was with Kurt Angle and you had to submit him, and it was like ridiculously hard to do.
Oh, I
You
remember
had to
that
like
fight.
beat the fuck out of him until you could get him.
It's weird to
Kurt
think.
Angle, what a legend.
It's weird to think during that era. Like, I like how we've gone on a tangent on wrestling games, but like that era was really weird for WWE because it was like instead of having like one game that was across all the platforms, they would make games specifically for Xbox, specifically for PS2, and specifically for GameCube. Like the original Xbox had the Raw games, PlayStation 2 had the SmackDown games, and then yeah, GameCube had Day of Reckoning 1, 2, and WrestleMania. Then eventually it all led to the SmackDown vs. Raw games, which you started seeing across all the platforms. But like, I just like how like WWE just wanted to have a game on each platform, but they're like, we also want to like get the people who like say own all 3 consoles, get them to buy multiple games since they're different games. Like, it's a smart marketing move on their part. I think. I know I bought all of them. Like that I could.
What? You buying
just for you.
multiples of things? Crazy.
Yeah. All right. I'll go with my game. So I was gonna say Oblivion earlier. That was like my first pick, but
Fucking
Mark ended
Mark.
up mentioning that. I've talked about this game before on the podcast, so it's gonna be a broken record. But like Kingdom Hearts 1, man. Like Kingdom Hearts 1 is just that game. Like I think Sean, when like you were talking earlier about your memories, like with like gaming, and when you're just like thinking about like the core to all that, like Kingdom Hearts 1 was that game that made me a gamer. Because I think up until then, like I had a PS1, I would play games like Spyro, Tony Hawk's, just for the sake of like killing time. But like Kingdom Hearts 1 was that game that I realized I could get like emotionally invested into a game, like I could get consumed into a game, and it just to this day, like I still think of that game so fondly that like I really hope they nail it when Kingdom Hearts 4 eventually comes out. But yeah, no. Kingdom Hearts 1 is just there's like few games where like I always like think back where it's just like it's always just positive memories, and that game is that. With the exception of being a kid and getting super pissed off at the fucking Ansem fight at the end and being like this fucking asshole, fucking Sephiroth being a dick, fucking one hit kill move bullshit, but yeah, so Sean, what are your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts?
The Disney Final Fantasy game was made for men. Gotta be a real man to beat it. I love Kingdom Hearts. I remember seeing the cover for it and just like being like mind blown, because it was like at that point I hadn't really played any Final Fantasy games like through. I've played like a little bit, but I've watched John play all of them, and then this one was like, hey, Disney characters, and I was like, dude, I'm in. And like it was so mind boggling. I remember like being that annoying kid who would just tell everybody about it. I was like, oh, it's like Final Fantasy, but there's Disney characters. It's so cool. You could fight Sephiroth, and then you could go hang out with Winnie the Pooh. And for some reason in my child brain, like that was the coolest thing ever. And now that I'm an adult, that's still
That's
the coolest
still
thing
fucking
ever.
cool.
That's amazing. I wish you could fight Sephiroth using Winnie the Pooh as a weapon, but that's probably a different game. I've liked all the Kingdom Hearts. I even had fun with 3. Like I'll admit, like the story kind of let me down, but I think the gameplay was great. So I'm excited for some more Kingdom Hearts. And Melody of Madness, the music in all the Kingdom Hearts games, fantastic. Like when you walk away, you don't hear me say, please. Oh baby, don't go.
DMCA.
It's stricken.
DM. D.
Did it freeze again on me? It froze again on me. Son of a bitch.
Smiling.
He looks
I-
happy.
There it
It
is.
was like right after we made the joke about the DMCA strike. We get like
You're just-
I just look at all of you. You're frozen, and for a
Move
moment, I'm
fast.
like, I didn't know if you guys were fucking with me, because like I wouldn't put it past you guys. Like fucking.
you think we would plan something like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably, yeah.
You had such a big smile, though. I was okay. With
Okay,
that.
guys, ready?
All right, John. What are your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts?
I like Kingdom Hearts. I think it's one of my favorite game franchises. I prefer Kingdom Hearts 2, but Kingdom Hearts 1 I do have like quite a good memory with. It was I thought it was stupid before I ended up playing it because of the Disney characters, but then when I ended up playing it, I was like, the Disney characters just add so much to it that it's perfect. And I think honestly that's what made me like Disney more was Kingdom Hearts. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 expanded quite a bit on the original Kingdom Hearts and made it a little bit, I don't want to say better because they're both good in their own right, but it just like it added enough to make me like it more. Like the forms, like you can change it to like the magic form and like Sephiroth battle. That's took me forever. Took me a long time. I ended up mastering it like no hits on me and I killed him. So that was one of my proudest gaming moments. And then I was actually kind of disappointed with the Ansem fight at the end because I was like, this is not that hard. After I beat Sephiroth, of course. So you gotta imagine, yeah. I spent like hours trying to beat Sephiroth. So yeah. Kingdom Hearts. I hope 4 is good. 4 will be good. You know what? 3 was okay. 4 will be better. They learned from their mistakes.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, like I made a crucial mistake because like it was like my first time getting super far into ARPG, where like when I got to that Ansem fight, I didn't account for something like, hey, stock up on potions and ethers. So like I had like the weakest like fucking potions, and I went to go fight him. I'm like, my save state, I'm fucking stuck here. Like, I can't fucking. I'm fucked. Like I used all my good shit in previous fights. I don't have access to anymore. So that like
In all fairness, I think I was like max level when I got to Ansem, so
that's fair.
that's
fair.
probably yeah.
Yeah. Like I never understood. Like I wasn't aware of like the full on grind yet of like boosting the level. So like I think like when I fought him, I was probably like 48ish or something around there instead of like 99. But Mark, I know you haven't played the Kingdom Hearts games. Well, you played Dream Drop Distance, but what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. It's a good series. I've seen gameplay and I like you talk about it a bunch. Like from what I played of the Dream Drop one, like it is a fun sort of experience. It's just like that was a PlayStation exclusive, right?
Kingdom Hearts, yeah, 1 and 2. Dream Drop was the 3DS one.
Yeah, no, I meant for like the one you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I didn't get a PlayStation, obviously, for much later. But if I did have a PlayStation, I could have seen myself very easily playing that game. But I was on a different path then, and
The wrong path.
yeah, it was, and I it took me a long time to see it. It took so long, and then finally Xbox is like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get PlayStation now, and I've never looked back.
I think John was on that path too for a while. The Xbox
Yeah.
path.
Yeah, I was like Nintendo, and then I was Xbox, and then eventually I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a PlayStation, and I loved it. So I switched.
Anthony, I know. So I know you played, I think, a bit of 3 with Link, right? But like, what are your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts?
Well, I know. So growing up, like, I mean, me and my sister, we got new Disney movies on VHS every year. But like, of the Disney stuff, some of the stuff that I just had zero interest in growing up was anything around like Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, all of that stuff. I just had no interest. Like, the only thing I can think of over the years that piqued my interest and I actually enjoyed was like a Goofy movie and the sequel. Um, there might have been some other stuff, but like that's all I can really think of where I was like, this is sick. So when I saw these games, I don't know if like regardless of whether Goofy movie came out before or after, that was just an example. But when I see these games, I'm like, oh, you play with like these guys in your party. I'm like, that seems fucking stupid. Like I'm not gonna play this game because like I had nothing about them interested me, right? So, I mean, nowadays, just from what I've seen and what I've been told, like I can appreciate it from afar. But even from what I played of 3, like it just doesn't grip me. I don't know if it's just the way I look at or like think of like that whole ensemble of like Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and them. But like it takes me so out of it that I just can't get into it. Like as far as like the story goes. So like it's really just the gameplay that would keep me there, and the gameplay is good. Uh, that like I did enjoy the gameplay in 3, but I don't think enough for it to carry the entire game, carry me through the entire game. If that makes sense. Or at least enough time to the point where maybe the stories might grip me, but I don't know. I definitely appreciate it from afar, and I have nothing against them myself. I just have a feeling there might be attempts made in the future, but I just have a feeling I will go my entire life never actually playing through any of them.
That's fair. I do want to give a huge shout out to this game for one. Like, obviously, it's gonna have really fantastic voiceovers from like the Disney characters, but like for the Final Fantasy characters and the original characters, like they had a stacked cast. Like, Haley Joel Osment played Sora. He was the kid from Signs, if you remember that movie. Billy Zane
That does
played
not.
fucking Ansem, the guy who sunk the Titanic. You know, the villain of Titanic. He did it.
The iceberg?
Angel, David Boreanaz played Leon from Final
The guy
Fantasy.
from Bones?
Yeah.
He's an angel too.
Christy
Actually,
Carlson
while
Romano,
you're-
Kim Possible, voiced
was-
Yuffie.
I was gonna say while
Ray
you're looking it up,
Romano.
it's crazy because most of these Final Fantasy characters didn't have a voice before this game. I mean, Tidus and Waka, and they had a voice, but like Squall or as they call him in that game, Leon, and Cloud and Sephiroth, they never had a voice. That was the first time you're like, oh my god, that's what Cloud sounds like. That they big props for that for sure.
Yeah, freaking. Speaking of Sephiroth, Lance Bass from NSYNC, blonde one. He voiced Sephiroth, and he actually did a great job. I thought
So
he
weird.
did a great job for it. That was a weird.
I just remember
casting
him going,
choice.
"What is Cloud doing?"
What is-
That line just sticks in my head for some reason.
Alright.
I'd love if Ray Romano played Sephiroth.
What
What
is
is Cloud doing? Deborah! What is Cloud doing?
All right. Moving on to shoot the shit. I'm gonna have Anthony start us off. What's been on your mind lately?
Yeah, so I've been just thinking about stuff and things and
Stuff and
other
things.
stuff. Yeah. No, yeah, so I've been playing dipping my toes back into Destiny. I've just been trying to think of like good balancing act because I'm still like in it on Throne and Liberty. But luckily, like we're kind of at a point with Throne and Liberty where we're kind of waiting for new content, and there's room for like being prepared for the new content, like accumulating currencies and materials and stuff. Like my gear can be upgraded more, but I'm at the point with it where I'm like, why? Like why? I'll do it if I happen to get an item with the right trait to upgrade my current traits, that kind of deal. But like, I'm not going out of my way because I'm high enough to do the new content when it comes out, and I'd rather just get yeah. So like, um, so I'm just trying to figure out a good way to like kind of balance the two, so I don't feel like I'm not winning on either. You know what I mean? So I think it won't be too bad because like the reality is the way Throne of Liberty works is the currencies you use for daily activities. Like even if I did like say if I fell behind, I could play one evening probably. I fell behind 2 or 3 days. I could do one evening and probably blow through most of them and not lose out because there's a cap on how much you can hold of these currencies. I know a lot of this is kind of cryptic because you guys haven't played it, but I don't feel like elaborating if I'm being honest. But the point is, currency for activity has cap. You get so much a day. So like, I think I could do it without losing out, like without hitting that cap and going to the next day and just not getting any because I'm at the cap. So plus we have like guild activities that are kind of planned throughout the week, but there's not too many of them. So like, there's no reason I would feel like I'd have to miss them, you know? So it'll just depend on how I'm feeling with Destiny because I've only done like one major session so far. So once I get a few more in, I kind of dictate kind of like what my accomplishments are going to be, like what I'm aiming for, what I want to do, what I want to get, so on and so forth. Then I can kind of really see how that fits in with the idea of balancing them both. But yeah, that's kind of all I've been really thinking about. I mean, that and the rising price of pizza and it's too expensive, man. Like my
Let's talk
go-to
about the
now,
economy.
my go-to is Little Caesars. And I don't get me wrong, I love Little Caesars pizza, but that's my go-to now just because of how crazy cheap in comparison. Like anywhere else you go, like your minimum, like twice the cost for the same amount. Minimum. Potentially more.
And that's tax free for the moment, right?
I don't know. Is it?
It's free.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be. Yeah, we've been getting
All
tax free
right.
pizza.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's free. Free
Not
real estate.
free, tax free. Anthony goes to this pizza
You
place.
still have to
You
pay
owe me my
for it.
money.
Thanks.
I
Thanks,
also-
government of Canada.
I think I might have said it to you guys the other day, but I got my pre-order secured for Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster for PlayStation 5. Thanks to Sean, I was able to. That last minute message I sent actually was sufficient enough to get them to secure to hold the copy for me. So
Nice.
otherwise, yeah, if you had messaged me that, I don't know if I would have even seen that. I would have just seen its release date like a week or two later and been like, oh, I should pre-order that, and then I messaged them and they'd be like, nah,
Too bad.
Yeah.
So saying. Yeah, GameMD's the best. Shout out to GameMD. This is a sponsored podcast sponsored by GameMD. GameMD. If you were a doctor and you want to sell video games, you work at GameMD.
Yeah.
GameMD.
That's how I got
Place to buy
Metaphor. Was
games
like
and
I pre-ordered it like maybe 2 weeks before it came out from GameMD, and they're like, I don't know, kind of last minute. And I waited, and then the next day they're like, you know what, you're on the list. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
the list of people we want to kill.
That's what they do when they get late requests for them. When they have the chance, they call the supplier to see if there's any chance of adding more before it's shipped out, or if it has been shipped out already. I imagine those scenarios like you, they probably caught them just in time before it was shipped, that they could go and add another copy or something. Plus, they do usually bring in a couple spares. No, nothing crazy. I don't know how many. Like I imagine maybe like between 5 and 10. 10? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
10,000.
10,000.
GameMD.
Yeah.
GameMD, listen, like I know it's our last episode of the podcast, but if you somehow like decide to make us your official podcast, or like you want to sponsor us at all, we'll keep going. We'll go. Like
Chris is like, what are you fucking doing?
I'll run it, Chris. You can take a break.
When
I don't know what I'm
Yes, no.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
I mean, my Discord's frozen on me twice so far, so you don't have much to like have to beat.
It's true. Like I've based my entire success on this podcast to banana jokes and putting beards on my family. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not any better.
Well, welcome home.
All right, Mark, what's been on your mind?
Just been working a bunch and also playing tons of Throne Liberty. Yeah, I like kind of to expand on what Anthony said. Like, it's just basically getting some daily grinds and stuff done. And, like, I hang out with some of the guild members in like the Discord chat every once in a while. Um, yeah, not a ton. I have been trying to get out and take photos and stuff more, but like literally I'm like, okay, tomorrow 100% going out to take photos. I wake up, I look out my window, and it's the worst weather you can ever imagine. And then it's like I literally can't do anything tomorrow morning besides like these like couple of things, and it'll be the most perfect day to go out and take photos. So that's basically been my experience with my free time. Is when I want to do something and have time for it, I can't, and then when I don't have time to do things that I want to do, it's perfect. But yeah, besides that, not a ton. Uh, I do find it funny because like I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the last one because I wasn't able to come here. But I'm pretty sure the last podcast before the one in like over the New Year's was I was talking about how I didn't really think I would be getting into Throne and Liberty and the MMOs. Like, it has to be a very specific formula, and I've played it almost every single day since since that podcast. So I downloaded it, and the next day I tried it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun, and I have not stopped playing it.
Yeah.
been
Again.
interesting.
Yeah, we got him. All right, Sean, what's been on your mind?
I think they swapped me when I was a baby with another baby.
Was it John? You could tell me.
No, John's older than me. Unless he dressed up like a baby. But that wouldn't make any difference because we would still go to the same parents. But I think the government swapped me as a baby because my real dad is a spy for the Japanese.
Like a hitman?
Maybe. I don't know him.
Is he
I was
bald?
swapped as a baby. I don't know. I don't know him. We'll find him. We'll find him. I've been thinking about much. Been thinking about how, the people who are playing Marvel Rivals Comp are garbage. You get in those gold lobbies and it's like, how did you even get here? Why are you here? Why are you playing this game like it's Call of Duty? Like, I see people run out by themselves and they're like, I'm gonna 1v6. Nope. Not even the best players are going out and 1v6ing people. Wait for your team. You're stupid. So if anybody who plays Marvel Rivals is watching this, I don't care how good you are at the game. You're stupid. You have no game sense. You're all over the place. You blame the healers. You blame the tanks. We all know who's at fault. It's the duelists. You're not good at the game. This isn't Call of Duty. You're not going to go out and get 100 kills and everyone else is going to have minimal kills. You have to work as a team. So I guess my advice would be stop playing. I don't know. Or just play quick play. Just play quick play. That's what it's for. You get carried when you're soloing in competitive, and then you end up with a team of all these people who are carried. They have no idea what they're doing. I've also been thinking about the world. Scary out there right now,
Snow.
It's a lot of things that Donald Trump is doing in his first couple days in office that are scary. I don't want him to annex Canada. I don't think he will. But that almost seems like a threat of war to me. It makes me scared. It makes me want to live somewhere far away. Makes
Like
me want to go.
Northern Canada.
That's still Canada.
Nobody is trying to invade northern Canada. I can tell
Yeah,
you
They don't
that.
it's
fuck
too
with Northern
cold.
Canada. They don't
With the stuff that he's been doing the past like few days, I think he's going to be impeached before he even gets a chance to annex Canada. So
Unfortunately,
he-
I do not believe that will happen.
Why would he get impeached? He doesn't deserve
Have
that.
you
That's
seen
You ever seen
Impeachment?
Mario's
James and
wife.
the Giant Peach?
Oh.
Hello.
I was thinking.
I do also-
Mario. You know,
James, get impeached.
he's got Elon Musk's backing. So I mean, yeah, I guess you're right, Mark.
You know what's
Not,
funny?
not even that. It's just there's too many people who just agree with him without doing any research on anything.
I don't talk about politics much, man, but like there was a video I saw today of like this is what the workforce looks like after Donald Trump at 4 days in office, and it's like a work site of a bunch of houses that aren't being worked on, and like some grapes that are like all shriveled up, and he's like the cost of these are gonna go like they're gonna double because nobody's like working on them, and blah 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 blah. So dumb. Like he's so. I don't want to say anymore.
Have you seen the video of that seagull laughing though?
I mean, we're in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm fine, right?
For now.
For now.
I know there's a specific face paint you can use like pattern to like hide facial recognition. So I think like I'm okay. I saw it today, so I think I can replicate it.
I'm just
Someone's
waiting.
face?
I'm just waiting. This topic makes me go like, "Oh, I'm due for like my Discord freezing on me." Like I'm trying to shut it down. Shut it down. Alright.
Chris freezes and Donald Trump just like kind of pops up in his screen. Like, what are you guys talking about?
All right, John. What's
I
been
did
on
see a
your mind?
TikTok where it said he signed an executive order to have Grand Theft Auto 6 released now.
Okay, it's not so bad, I guess.
He's got my vote.
Yeah.
That's a
Wait,
wrap.
oh,
I'm just
Podcast out.
All right, John. What's been on your mind?
This. Hold on. It's got to load for a second. Hold
you
on.
gotta load.
It's got to load. It's got to load.
It's a big load.
Why isn't it doing it? Come on.
Doing it.
If it doesn't load, I'll just start talking about it. Yeah.
Was it a podcast?
What the fuck, Sony?
What?
What the fuck?
The VR PC adapter.
Why? Like, why is this thing so hard to get?
You gotta
Why do I have
pre-order
to pre-order it like a year ago? Like,
Yeah.
why, Sony? Why don't you have more? There can't be that many people buying it now. Maybe that's why you're not releasing
Scalpers.
it. Fucking Best Buy has it, like, I don't know, in London, Ontario, probably. I don't know. I'm not driving 2 hours to get it.
Well, then you don't want it.
Why am I playing
want it hard enough.
your limited fucking library of PSVR 2 games when I could be playing, you know, anything on
simple,
PC,
John.
modded things on PC, fun things on PC?
It's because you don't have that cord. That's why.
Exactly. And then I have to admit, I dabbled a little bit in a game recently called Waltz of the Wizard. Man, that one's actually not bad. You're like a wizard, and like there's like this talking skull that you have, and like this cauldron, and you like mix ingredients together to like get different spells, and you can like make things grow and make things shrink and like make things float and make things explode. That one's pretty cool until you get to like the combat dungeony portion. Like this, like leave it. This one should have stayed a gimmick. Like it should have just been like, oh, you're just gonna go here and experiment with a bunch of stuff. No, they ended up like making, after you do all that stuff, like a dungeon where you can fight things. And I don't want to fight. My arms get tired when I'm fighting things. I just want to mix shit together, you know? But
Feel that.
not bad. And then Arizona Sunshine 2, I played a little bit with Mark. That was fun. I got a good clip
Such a
of
fun game.
Eating the
of me
pizza.
aiming a gun at a zombie and then shooting it, and then Mark running up with his melee weapon. Like I was gonna hit that.
What about
No, it's funny because I saw that you were loading. I'm like, I got it, I got it, I got it. Shoots it literally as I'm like just about to downswing. It's like, oh,
But besides those two games, I mean, Resident Evil 4, I've
Oh.
talked about it on the podcast before, the VR version, where it just doesn't seem like a lot of it was made for, obviously it wasn't made for VR. Like they kind of like took some of the game and like the cutscenes, you're behind Leon, and then all of a sudden it's like you're Leon again. And then sorry, I had to. But and then Resident Evil Village, like I didn't want to play through it again because I played through it like 2 times on PC, and then I don't know. I just need more VR games to come out on PlayStation, or maybe, you know,
Have you tried Sushi Ben?
no.
It looks good.
Should
I
I?
haven't played it. It looks like kind of like a sim game, but it's like a manga, like art style. It looks fun. There's fishing, ghost catching.
Yeah. I just can't wait until we're like plugged into a game like, you know, Sword Art Online or something.
oh yeah, that's gonna be so good.
Like the Matrix.
Or like Dot Hack, you know.
or
Those are
log-
like the
log-
worst examples, like
Yeah,
the
that
most
sounds
grim
awful.
examples of VR.
Well,
But yeah, that's all I have to say.
what about the clip, man, where you're like trying to eat the pizza and it's just you slamming it against your face and nothing's happening?
Yeah, that's so funny.
It wasn't doing anything. I didn't know I had to like hover it over my head and then
Why is
lower it.
pizza? Why am I not eating
So,
it?
like,
Drops
you're
it.
like this and you're like and I think you threw it
Yeah.
and then you couldn't find it. Mark's like, it's right there, it's right there.
So funny. Oh, so funny.
We're gonna have to send Chris those clips so he can put them in the YouTube video.
They're on the PlayStation thing.
It sounds like a lot of effort for the final episode, but
I'm phoning it in for this last one. Immediate upload, not even putting in the
Oh
intro.
man, yeah, that was.
it's
That's so
just
funny.
straight to YouTube, unedited.
But yeah, as for me, I'm thinking about that altar that's in fucking Anthony's house. That
Bro,
did
come
fucking
over,
Yeah.
come over.
It's good
How many
times,
bones you
man.
got?
Like
200 and something
in your body.
Yeah.
But earlier this week, the digital release for Sonic 3 came out. So I bought it, the 4K version, and watched it on the new TV. And 1, that movie looks fucking amazing. And 2, that movie is fucking amazing. I had a
I'm
great
going to
time
see it
with that
tomorrow.
movie. Nice. Yeah, I think you'll have a great time, John. I think you'll have a great outside of that, I'm looking forward to. I don't want to butcher saying the name and sounding racist again. Like a Dragon
Rakuza.
Pirate Yakuza. I'm looking forward to that next month. Excited for that.
It's gonna be so.
Arr. How do- yeah.
Were you gonna ask me how I said it last time?
No.
No,
okay, because you should
I-
remember how I
yeah.
said it. Super racist, unintentionally.
Oh, Harold.
Yeah.
Sorry, my pants were riding up.
When you did that earlier in
Ride
the
'em
show, I'm
down,
like, did he
baby.
just take off his pants?
I kind of want to. Let's try that. I just don't want anybody to see my penis. They're
Alright.
tight. They're corduroys. So
It's a John with long hair.
That's Johnson
Yeah.
Momoa.
Hermione Granger.
All right.
It's Johnson Momoa.
Final topic, boys. We finally got a video that showed off the Switch 2, like 2 minutes. So, so let's see what everybody thought about it. Sean, what are your thoughts? Are you gonna attempt to buy it day one?
oh yeah, I put myself on the wait list on GameMD just in case they get a copy, and then I'm refreshing. I will say, like, I remember the Switch release trailer. I was very excited for. I think like that video blew me away. But this like culture of like leaks and stuff, and YouTubers constantly talking about it and seeing on every like social media feed is just it's just it's so bad. Like it didn't hype me up for anything specifically, but it was just kind of like tiresome of them talking about it. And I think Nintendo, the way they released the trailer was kind of like in response to that, where they're like, well, everybody knows, here it is. So it didn't really feel that exciting. I'll probably be more excited around, what is it, April 2nd or whenever the direct is. I think it's April 2nd. To see that, to get more kind of, firm news on what it is. I'm excited to see like what that mouse gimmick is, like how that kind of plays into the game. It looks like they fixed the drift issue, so that looks pretty good. I like how the screen is bigger. I liked it. I'm excited. I'm pretty pumped about it. I want to know more about it, but I'm excited for it. I think new Mario Kart is going to be amazing. 24 player Mario Kart is going to be bonkers. So excited to see how that plays out. I'm excited to so there's speculation that because there's a button on the Switch 2 that nobody knows what it does. There's speculation that you can stream it to your TV without having it on the dock. I think that's pretty cool because you can use it as a second screen, kind of like the Wii U. So we'll see. I want to see more games. I want to see, Metroid Prime 4. I want to know what resolution it's in. I doubt it's in 4K. It'd be cool if it was 4K docked and then 1080 on the thing. I don't think it'll be as powerful as what we're seeing with like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally and all that kind of stuff. But I don't really care because I play Nintendo games not for the quality of the visuals. I play them because they're fun. And I know I get the Nintendo Switch 2. I'll have fun. That's all that matters. So it'll be a day one buy for me. I've already set money aside for it in my savings account. So
How about you, John?
Oh, I didn't even see the Switch. I saw some like stuff from it, like the controllers, how they like plug into the sides. I didn't really. I don't know. I kind of want to be surprised by this one a little bit. I didn't know about the new Mario Kart, but that's cool. I'm sure I'll watch the. Sure, I'll watch the direct. Is that beer or water?
it's water. I'm
He would
so
never
wet
waste
right
beer.
now.
Yeah, I didn't really look into it. I've been a little bit busy lately with stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm sure I'll get it and it'll sit there for a bit. Eventually. Yeah. It'll just sit there. Like this one. Maybe.
I'm all wet.
Yeah, Sean, I do echo your frustration with like the YouTubers because like it was super annoying seeing people be like, "Oh, it's like okay, it's like the leaks. We know this because of the leaks. It's like not surprising." And to like what you said, yeah, it's not surprising because the shit got fucking leaked. Honestly, it's a good thing I'm not running Nintendo because that'd be super petty. That every time something leaked, I'd be like, "We're pushing it back a month just because of that." I'm gonna make you guys keep
I would
fucking
cry.
waiting, right? But no, I'm
We
gonna
were
try
going to
to get
release
it
it
at
tomorrow. Now it'll be released sometime next year.
launch. You gotta wait, bitch. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it at launch. Like, I'm not gonna like try like we did with like the Spider-Man PS5 and like 30th anniversary stuff where like I was like on point. It'll be like I have like these accounts I follow on Twitter that send notifications when gadgets go up online and stuff. So like I'll have that up, and then if I get it, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll try to secure my like I'm not like if I don't walk away with a pre-order, I'm not. I think I'm curious with it. I do want to pick it up, but
We
Mark,
could
how about
always,
you?
if I do end up GameMD does end up getting it, and they say I can get one, and I do get a pre-order somewhere, I could always keep it
True.
if you
Okay.
want.
I'm cool with that. And then I'll pay you in kisses. I'll do.
Okay,
We'll do.
that's better than money in this economy. Chris
Fucking-
kisses.
That'll be sad.
I have to take my shirt off, but I'm gonna move the camera. Oh no.
Mark, what are your thoughts on the Switch 2?
I mean, like, I'm not a really big Nintendo guy. Like, I enjoyed this my time with my Switch and the handful of games I played on it, but like, I can see it. It's right there, and that's been sitting there. The only time it's come out of the dock in the last 3 years is when I accidentally knocked it over, and I went, "Whoops!" Put it back into its dock, and that's basically all it's ever done. Uh, I probably am not going to get it. Like, there would have to be a very substantial game to come out for it to make me want to get another Nintendo system. But yeah, for me, like, it's whatever. I did see a couple of things which I thought were interesting takes on like the design, like potential flaws, especially with because like the controllers plug into the side instead of like the rails where like one guy who says like he repairs like systems and stuff like that was already saying like these things are going to break all the time, with that being a specific thing, like not necessarily like people our age breaking them, but because it's like a console, like Nintendo's generally geared towards younger people. He's saying like a lot of the repairs they had to do was kids pushing back on the controllers and breaking. He's like, these things are going to snap off left, right, and center. But I mean, like, who knows how it's actually going to work when it comes out? Like, I'm assuming they're going to have they've already thought of that and come up with countermeasures for it. But yeah, I mean, like the 24 person Mario Kart does actually sound like a ton of fun. But for me, that's not enough to warrant the purchase of the system. But I've also said I wasn't going to buy things a lot of times, and then I ended up buying them anyways. Chris just needs to get me to walk into Best Buy because he's like, "Hey, you want to go to Best Buy? Guys want to look at some stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go with you." He buys nothing, I buy something. That's usually how it goes. So I'm sure he might trick me into buying one eventually.
Yeah, I know I say we can't take Sean anywhere, but honestly, the truth is to be said with me. Like, if I go with a individual to a place where you could buy something gaming or tech related, that individual, Mark, a lot of the times mainly walks away with a purchase. With a purchase. Anthony, what are your thoughts on the Switch 2?
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it because I don't really have an interest in Nintendo at this point anymore. Like, I don't plan on getting it. Maybe a game will come out that interests me, but I was really only there, like, retrospectively thinking about it. It's like Zelda and Pokemon is what kept me interested in Nintendo. That was it. Pretty much the buck stops there, and I don't have an interest in like the classic Pokemon format anymore. I've tried, and I wasn't into Breath of the Wild and its sequel, so there's no reason for me to be on Nintendo. So I don't. I'll just have to wait it out, see what happens.
That's fair.
I do not care about Mario Kart. I've never cared about Mario Kart, so I'm hard out on the day one release game for sure.
I imagine
Sorry,
like
Nintendo.
there's probably gonna be
Especially
another
like
game.
I'm a bit salty too, just with like I know, like just with Nintendo as a company and some of the things they've been trying to do over the last couple of years with like their flexing their power on other studios, you know. So I don't really want to give them my money if I don't feel like I need to, you know. So not that that's going to change anything. Like me, one person is not going to suddenly make them be like, okay, we won't try and take down other studios because they're trying to build off our ideas. Like that's obviously not going to happen. But
It might. What if like they have like a you're the one person keeping them afloat. Like there's just one person who like kind of tilts them over the
He
line.
doesn't buy one, we're done.
They literally throw out all the Switch 2s
$50 a
into
year
a
they make on
dumpster.
me.
No point.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it is cool that it's finally announced. So, because it was, I gotta be honest, dude. Especially from a perspective where my interest is very low. Like it was just getting so annoying that it was just constantly being talked about. Like, oh, it's gonna be. I'm like, just fucking like you're saying, but from a different perspective, like just fucking wait for them to say something. Like stop.
People milked it so much, which I mean, like, I can understand in a sense for like Nintendo specific YouTubers, like one that me and John, like I know for me, I used to watch his stuff a lot, but like it got really
Yeah, I
unbearable.
hate him now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, like it just like every week it was just like something new on like the Switch 2 that was theoretical or finally the leaks. And it's just like you're beating this console to death like into the ground, like, and it's not even been officially announced yet. Like
Probably why Bob left. He's like, I'm tired of it. I don't want to talk about it.
he's like, I'm fucking done. Fuck this mother shit. All right.
Damn it, Bobby.
That has been a final successful episode of the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. That's Mark.
Bye.
Anthony.
See you, Starside.
John.
Please don't go. I'm so lonely.
And John Momoa.
Bye.
Cue sad Hulk music.
That's white.